the lamp, so you got to go out.
What's going on, everybody? Welcome to episode 874 of FloWrestling Radio Live. I'm your host, Christian Pyles, joined today by the duo of Ben Funky Askren and James Dean Rader, and on a very, very rainy, nasty day here in Austin, Texas. What? As JD said when he got here,
we needed it.
We needed the rain. We need the rain, Ben. Arizona probably needs a little rain. How you doing, Ben?
Oh, no rain here in Arizona. It's actually colder than what I expected. It was like, I don't know, 60, 65. Nice to get some sun, though, because I'm going home today, and I'm not traveling for like 6 weeks, and it's going to be cold as crap in Wisconsin.
Whoa, 6 weeks, really?
I don't travel again to the end of January. It's pretty great.
That's a pretty long stretch for you.
Yeah, it's nice.
Okay, well, congratulations. How was AWA time in Arizona? How many kids go?
We had 20 kids come. So we did we hiked Pyles Peak on Saturday morning together. That was fun. And then we did an all P&L camp. So all of the teams from P&L showed up, and we did a camp together. Some of the different coaches coached. It was a lot of fun. And then Sunday we did the wrestling, and it was great also. And then we all hung out. All the coaches hung out and talked about things together Sunday night. And now I'm talking to you guys.
Yes, you are. And now we're up to speed. That's good
Absolutely.
stuff. Do you guys do any like fundraising? How do you get 20 kids to all fly to Arizona and all that stuff?
We got a pretty committed bunch. Told them to get a lot of good matches. And I think, a lot of them want to get out of the cold. So some of the whole families came, and I know some of them went top golfing with each other last night, for example. But we did the hiking and the camp thing, and I think everyone had a good time.
Okay, good stuff.
Yeah.
All right, so a little bit of weekend wrestling to discuss. There was not a ton over the weekend of like significant note, but we'll get into that, and we're going to discuss the collegiate duels, which are starting today, concluding tomorrow. A lot of really good matches coming up there. But also wanted to take a little time. Every time we do the show and Ben talks like coaching, mindset, youth philosophy, etc., everyone is like, that's when the show's at its best, and I agree with it. And there's obviously an element of this show's very current events. But when Ben texted me, "Hey, what are we talking about tomorrow?" I was like, "Well, great question." And then I mentioned this. I actually the first thing I said was, we're talking about if Die Hard is a Christmas movie. The classic.
What a disgusting debate.
The classic debate that's been going on forever. But that was
I'm almost certain we did this last year, didn't we?
I don't remember. But I think it's a rite of passage for any show. You have to discuss around this time of year if Die Hard is or is not a Christmas movie. But we're not really going to talk about that. But we are going to talk some youth coaching, philosophy, etc. And also, I'm weird about bringing it up because obviously I selfishly think about it all the time now. Both my kids are wrestling, so I'm like, well, it's only interesting because I'm really interested in it. But then I'm like, man, pretty much anyone that listens to this show is like somehow still involved in the sport in some way. They're all either competing, they're like a lot of high school kids, they're dads, they're coaches, so they're in the game.
Yeah, I mean, there's
refs. We forget about the refs, but they're out there.
Yeah, give the wrestling love. I was telling JD, I will not mention the coach's name because I don't want to get mad at me on air. So in our bylaws, one of the things we try to do is hold each other accountable to holding high standard events. And one of those is the coaches will not be bitching at the referees. Will not. And so we gave our first fine out yesterday. So we fined one of our members $500 for yelling at a referee too much.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay. Take that, Max Askren.
It was Max is not here, so it wasn't Max. I'll tell you that much. So no, but that's we actually think that's really important because we think if we can always treat the refs right, we're going to get the best referees. They're going to do a great job, and they're going to want to come back to our events because they never get yelled at by a-hole coaches.
Yes.
So yeah.
Well, good. Where's that fine go to? Pizza parties?
I thought it should go. My suggestion has not. You know what we realized is that fine has not been said where it's going. So I think it should go to referee bonuses. That's what I suggested yesterday.
That's a great idea.
Yeah.
How does it not do that? All right, you got yelled at. here's
It's
here's
what
another
you do.
$50.
Kozak says part of the punishment should be putting them on blast on FRL.
Wow.
Not yet. Not yet.
See, Kozak, he has this
I did make a
reputation.
joke. I did make a joke like a most want putting that person's picture on a most wanted poster on Twitter or something.
Yeah. But Kozak acts like this peaceful guy, but he comes on here. He was fire and brimstone last show, and now he's starting all kinds of trouble. Kind of a troublemaker, low key. I got to get on Facebook and make sure he's not,
That's hilarious.
spreading more insanity. So, okay, here's some of the things that happened over the weekend. Virginia Tech wrestled Stanford. That was one of the more interesting duels, and then Nebraska wrestled South Dakota State. Caleb
That was a
Henson.
good one.
Caleb Henson destroyed Jaden Abbas 11-1.
I know that was depressing
Sheesh.
because I had Abbas in the points.
I know. And I sided with
You were the only one that had
the
Henson.
Hokie. So that paid off big for me. But really beyond that, the only other notable thing was
I don't something notable.
Mackay only won by a point. And apparently
He kind of does that sometimes.
he does that. He does do that, but also Tech Twitter tweeted something about like gutted it out or injury or something like that. They took injury at some point. So
I don't know. And unfortunately, I never will because the Pac-12 network,
oh my gosh.
it hates uploading wrestling.
Yeah,
replays.
I got on the Pac-12.
Of
I was like,
course.
let me try to watch this. And then they have it, all right, sort by your sport and the school. So I said Stanford wrestling, and all it was Stanford basketball. And I said, this is a quality app here. So yeah, I don't know how that went. I don't know how the Abbas Henson match went necessarily, but I know it happened. I know the final score was all Caleb Henson.
Yeah. No, the positive for Stanford, or a big positive for Stanford this weekend would be in Valencia, one Reno Tournament champions. Pretty insane, especially considering he's not number one in your rankings. What is he? What number is he? I don't know if he's even that close to number one.
Good question.
Who?
I gotta go look.
Aiden Valencia.
In Valencia.
Let me look. I'll pull it up.
Because he just beat Rayvon Foley. He beat like 4 Division I dudes to win Reno.
We have so many high school rankings. Hold on.
So many.
Here we go.
I'll-
22, 23. I
He's
get
10.
number 10.
That's crazy, right? The number 10 high school kid is taking out college dudes. That's how deep high school is right now.
Man, I think Rayvon Foley might be ranked higher nationally than he is in
How crazy would
high
that be?
school. That's got to be a first. Yeah, that's a weird L for Rayvon to take. I mean, I think we all think Valencia's pretty good, but
Yeah.
that's a surprising win.
Did he wrestle? Was Valencia? Valencia was at Super 32, correct?
He took 4th.
Fourth, yeah.
He lost to Mason Gibson and Braden Davis.
Super 32
That's not
greater than
bad.
college
Yeah.
tournament champions.
This is a deep weight. I mean, those guys are 5 and 8 right now.
Is this 26?
Yes.
So he
Yeah,
was
26
wrestling
is
up
right
too.
now.
Yeah,
He's got to go up because he wrestled 133 at the Reno Tournament Champions.
we should invent a new weight class and just put it in the high school rankings. Put him at 133.
Number 1.
That's an option I've heard of. Okay. What else happened? So Nebraska beat South Dakota State. Looked like a really fun duel. Liam Cronin iced Tanner Jordan in 30 seconds. And then, of course, Tanner Cook, not to be outdone, with a fall in 29 seconds.
Why did
That's
that guy
fun.
shoot head outside?
Well,
And I love Tanner
Did
Cook
he?
mix it up.
Hold on, did he?
He went this way. Yeah, he went this way, and then he sprawled and went to a mixer. Like it was pretty sick. I'm almost there. I watched
I
it
kinda
quickly
felt
while
like-
walking through.
no, I'll
Parking lot.
rewatch it and be wrong, but I thought
You guys had a clip of it on your Twitter.
yeah,
That was where I
know.
watched.
I really thought he just sort of initiated it.
Here we
All right,
go.
here I'm watching.
No, the guy
No, he
does a
did.
duck.
He looked a duck.
Yeah.
No,
Yes.
you,
Yeah, he hits a duck. What are you thinking? Like,
You wrestle
Hello,
Takeook, you better protect your
McFly.
neck.
yeah,
for real. What are you doing? Why would you shoot that duck under?
yeah, and I think it's one of those things where maybe the muscle memory kicks in
Yeah.
a little bit because like it feels so there, and you're just like forgetting like the tactical element that like there's a reason it's so easy for you to get in right now. It's because like all he wants you to do is fire there. And man, what a pin.
Seriously, I like the one way the other way because as soon as you take that Bubba Wilson takes his hips back, then boom goes the other way. Wicked.
Yeah, he's a beast.
So
So Cook gets the pin there. Beyond that, Hardy beats Clay Carlson. Carlson continues to be right there, but couldn't get over the hump there against Brock Hardy, who is. I mean, can we say the sentence Brock Hardy title contender? I think you have to at this point.
why was Brock Hardy not good last year? I'm trying to remember.
Well,
Right?
he did
He
do
was-
a 2-year
He was
LDS
behind
mission.
Chad Red last year.
I feel like we were excited for him to come out, and then he didn't. Maybe that was 2 years ago. We were excited for him to come out at 149. That was it.
And then Ridge went up.
And he wasn't
Which
that
turned
good.
out to be a
and
smart
Ridge went
move,
up.
obviously.
Actually, when you look back, there's only one bad loss, and it's a guy I like because he beat Blockus, then he lost to Murin and Yaya, and then he lost to Drew Scherenbach, he's a Wisconsin kid. You guys wouldn't really know him. I mean, he's kind of scrappy, but that's
I've
kind
heard
of a
of
bad
him.
loss for him.
Yeah, and that was 2 seasons ago now. He was undefeated last year I guess I'm assuming it was a red shirt.
One
Yeah, it did go as a red shirt.
tournament.
One tournament, the Missouri Valley Open, which I think you entered the freshman-sophomore division as a fifth-year senior.
No,
So you
I
could get
refused to enter freshman, sophomore, the freshman. I refused. I hate the freshman, sophomore division.
You do?
Hell yeah. I came to scrap with these dudes. Let's go. That's me personally. I think it's probably appropriate for certain athletes. But me, I wanted to go mix it up. I didn't go to college to wrestle with other kids my age.
There you go. So yeah, now Brock Hardy. But to my question, is there any doubt that he's a title contender at this point? And not that Clay Carlson is but it's just another data point.
Brock Hardy had shaded. Yeah, I mean when you're top. Oh my, you guys! I didn't even see this. What you guys did?
What did we did?
Put Bo Bartlett above him.
Well, Bo Bartlett's didn't lose to Dylan Drogemuller.
Bo Bartlett, number 4. Wow.
I think he's
wild thing.
being totally disrespected.
What's Bo Bartlett? What's his best win this year?
This year,
Belton.
Yeah,
Belton,
he hasn't faced a super.
He also beat Malik Hines when Malik Hines was higher.
Yep. Yeah. All right. Hopefully we'll see him with some good matches this weekend. Or not this weekend. Today and tomorrow.
Today and tomorrow. So he could hit 41's interesting because you could have Swiderski versus Bartlett, which is I feel like it's a big measuring stick for both, truly. I feel like we'll learn a lot about Bo in a match like that against a guy that's super offensive. I think we'll learn a lot about Casey. Can he open up someone who's as hard to score on as Bo Bartlett? I think there's no doubt that Casey Swiderski can probably win a title this year. It's something we've been talking about for a while, and they could hit.
Yeah.
Who else could those two?
They
wrestle?
have North Carolina and Central Michigan in their division play.
So Lachlan McNeil.
Yeah, he's turned out to maybe not be quite the level we thought he was going to be coming out.
He was very high on the big board coming out.
Man,
he's still in the honorable mentions.
What'd you say?
So this weight class is like you could see, when you say Brock Hardy's a title contender, you're right? But then it's like I can see some of these guys who are way far down there being competitive with him.
Of course,
crazy.
Well, and very literally, number 11 has beaten him this year. I think we're going to see as the season progresses, more of these guys are going to get picked off and lose, and maybe someone will emerge, and be that guy. Maybe it's the top 3 that kind of hang around there. But I don't know. I feel like it's a vulnerable. There's just all those guys have a vulnerability, right? Like,
yes.
Lirez can struggle on the mat at times. He's not automatic there. Basically,
Matthews can leg attack.
Can't generate offense. Real had a hard time. He couldn't take down a true freshman, so generating scores there is going to be a challenge. Similarly for Bo Bartlett, Brock Hardy, he may be too wild and crazy, right? He could be too much the other direction. So yeah, it's a great weight for entertainment value for sure.
Yes.
Okay. I
41.
forget
So
what
wow.
we were talking about 41. Okay, because
I
we were
didn't
talking
get
about
the
this
41.
duel. What'd you say?
How do we even get the 41?
Because we talked about Brock Hardy beat Clay Carlson in the duel, and we're like, Brock Hardy title contender, confirmed. Peyton Robb title contender continues to just have a great year. He beat Cale Swenson 7-2. Labriola beats K. DeVos 4-0. Pinto over King 12-2. That's a nice win for Pinto, who he's a beast, man. It's a good weight class, but I feel like he's someone towards the end of the year. It's going to be really scary.
He's problems for whoever he wrestles. It's just he can also lose to.
Yeah.
Guys he should not lose to.
He's really strong, very good defensively. Tanner Sloan pretty much destroyed Silas Allred 12-0, and AJ Neville's took out Cale Davidson. The GOAT Nick Stimmett beat another GOAT, Andy Smith. And,
oh my God.
You hate to see
the one true GOAT.
The two legends someone had to lose, though, and it was Andy Smith. Which I'm being told it was elevation related, Ben, that loss.
That's funny.
Okay.
How about we didn't mention, you didn't mention who was the kid that Keegan kind of had the tough match with?
Connor Brady, yeah.
Yes, went to overtime with Shane Griffith.
Yeah, he has been I think for
Getting
Virginia
better.
Tech, he's been a real surprise. Now he is losing the matches, but he's been good this year, and he was right there and when he was close with Harchla, I was like, well, they were teammates, so probably familiarity. But then he's close with Keegan and even took him down, and then goes to tiebreakers, not sudden victory, tiebreakers with Shane Griffith. The Hokies may really have something there at 65, and maybe the weight change was big for Connor because he'd been at 57. Yeah. But either way, he's at the very least, Connor's going to be a tough out for the Hokies at 165.
But that's I mean the other thing there though is that is a freaking deep weight. It's gonna be harder to climb some rungs there than some other weight classes.
100%, very deep weight. Okay, and that was I want to say pretty much it on the
not a lot
on the collegiate side. But now, when there's a reason for that, a lot of the relevant teams are wrestling today and tomorrow. Let's go through that. Kozak's got a great preview that totally lays out the structure for this event, which can be sort of confusing, but he breaks it down and it's actually pretty simple for these collegiate duels. So for today, we'll get into it. I'll just read the duels that are going to happen, then we can get into maybe the matchups. Or do you have it right there? If you want to do it, why don't you go ahead?
So you got two pools, red pool and blue pool. In those pools, there are divisions, and the winner of said divisions, 1 versus 1, the champion will wrestle the champion. The pools do not cross, but the divisions will. So red pool day 1, UNI versus Lockhaven, Ohio State versus Lockhaven, then Ohio State versus UNI. The winner of that will wrestle the winner of Lehigh versus Cal Poly, NC State versus Cal Poly, NC State versus Lehigh to claim your red pool champion.
Mm-hmm.
And also third and fifth place matches. Then the blue pool starts off with Iowa State versus Oregon State, Cornell versus Oregon State, Cornell versus Iowa State. The other division in the blue pool.
That's a good match right there. I'm going to be on a freaking plane for that one. That's so annoying.
That's tough. Yeah, that's tough.
For which one?
Hey, you want to know something that pisses me off so much? It's a total distraction.
Okay.
And I don't know if people think about this. All right, so I fly Southwest a lot, okay?
Shout out.
All right, so if you go Southwest and you go to like their online app, you can watch free TV and whatnot, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. If you walk to the bathroom, everyone's watching the free TV. It's streaming fast as shit. They're watching movies. They're watching all this stuff. They're watching live TV. They're watching it.
Mm-hmm.
But if you buy the $8 internet, or I have a free because I'm A-list preferred, I have free internet. It freaking won't stream anything. It's like, well, how are all these 80 people streaming freaking everything? And I can't freaking barely use my internet. This is bull crap. I get so annoyed about it because it's clear that like they obviously put all the bandwidth to that and no bandwidth to like people who want to use the regular internet. It's like, this is
The
not
working
fair.
man.
Just buy some more bandwidth.
I want to go fight someone. I want to go fight someone at Southwest. Southwest, whoever is making the decision to put all the bandwidth towards the streaming devices, I want to fight you. I want to use my internet.
That's pretty much all airlines. That's not strictly to Southwest, though. That
Yeah.
the Wi-Fi on the plane is not going to be good. Even if you pony up for the like the high speed ones on Delta, it's still not great.
The deluxe.
Yeah, it's crazy because obviously there's high speed internet because everyone's streaming everything. They're streaming live TV for God's sakes. I want to watch Iowa State versus Cornell on the plane.
But you can't. Yeah, it's one thing I appreciate about Southwest. It's always $8 for the internet, whereas like Delta or American, it's like sometimes it's 15, sometimes it's like I think I've paid 20 before for internet. I think.
Why? Why do they change? It's weird.
And it'll change. Like my flight there will be one thing, and you'll be flying back, and it's just like they're just messing around. I feel like I'm in the middle of an A/B test all the time with these fools.
No, I get the A-list preferred, so I get that you type in the little password, and it's like I should have some. I'm A-list preferred. You better give me some damn bandwidth and let me stream my events.
Well, if you ask like that, it's no wonder why you're not getting it, Ben.
Man, this lady on the airplane, the stewardess, she was so freaking rude on Saturday morning over I flew. So rude the whole time. It's like acting grumpy about everything. And she gives a speech about how you should be nice to everyone and don't know what everyone's going through and smile and give them a good day. And I'm like, holy moly, is this lady not paying attention? Is there no self-awareness? She's been like rude the entire flight. And now she's telling everyone else to be nice. Like
this on Southwest.
Yes, take some of your medicine, lady.
I could do without the little like tight 5 stand-up bit they do before every flight. I get if you don't fly much, it's probably sort of endearing. But if you fly all the time, it's like, how about we just take off?
There's a couple of them that are funny, but most of them are very average. To your point,
average. These are they're not going to headline the Apollo anytime soon. No. Okay, how did we get here? Oh, this is Ben's fault.
I cut you guys off. I want to watch. I would really like to watch Iowa State Cornell, and I will be on a plane, and I will not be able to watch Iowa State Cornell.
If you got a private jet like an adult, then you wouldn't have these kind of problems.
That is something I need to do.
Yeah, so table the 4-wheeler and just get a private jet.
Okay, good trade-off.
Yeah, they're comparable price. So yeah, that duel's fire. Proceed, JD. Iowa State.
Then the last quadrant will be North Carolina versus Central Michigan, Penn State versus Central Michigan, Penn State versus North Carolina.
Sheesh. Okay. So we got a lot.
But that is the best duel today of all 12 duels that are happening today.
Iowa State versus Cornell is the one.
Why don't we pull that one into focus, because the winner of that duel is basically guaranteed to get Penn State for the final match. So. Correct. As you look at it, and if Tyler, if you want to pull it up, the Cornell versus Iowa State matchups. So we kind of did it in our heads right before the show started. I have it 4-4 with 2 toss-ups for this dual meet. Kabam Bam versus Unger, and it's gonna be Kabam Bam. I'm almost positive.
How do we know that? Not where did Terrakina go?
Terrakina is out till after New Year's.
Oh, damn. All right.
He was injured just over here, just probably 30 feet this way, where he was injured. That's a rare thing to say.
Oh, is that why he got pinned so easy? Is that why he laid down?
I think so. Yeah, they said it happened in that match, so that would make more sense than what actually happened.
Because that pinfall was pretty weird.
Yeah. I saw some of those at the Stockyard Stampede. It made more sense there than at the All-Star. So... Kabam Bam versus Unger, would we agree that's probably a toss-up? Like, Unger's good, he's ranked, but Kabam Bam's a tough out. It'll be a contrast because Kabam Bam more of a neutral guy, Unger really good on top.
Yeah, that's the key for me. Can Unger get a turn?
Yeah.
I mean, Unger's turned a lot of good dudes this year, but he is not getting very many takedowns.
True. So that's a big match. 33, Adasoa versus Arujau. Battle of not Russians. Should be a good one, but Vito should dominate this one.
Vito should dominate, yes, for sure.
We're looking at potential major territory.
Potential bonus. That's somewhere Adasayev needs to slow him down and not give up a major decision for the team.
Yeah. you got to avoid the bunches with Vito, because he'll attack and put you on your back, and he'll get a 4-point move or 6-point move. You can just limit it to just takedowns. Vito's not really a guy that's like gonna break you down and like get a turn against an elite guy, but he'll put you on your back for sure. Okay. See, Tanner, I don't know. Tanner Jack says if Iowa State ruins the Vito RBY matchup, it would be a tragedy.
Yeah. Okay, so
because I'm kind of more excited about Iowa State, Penn State.
It's a lot of fun also because there's some really cool matches in there.
Yes.
Who would you rather see? Okay, just from an entertainment standpoint, Iowa State, Penn State, or Cornell, Penn State?
You know
Iowa
my
State.
answer.
My answer is Iowa State.
Well, okay, but you get Vito RBY and you get Yanni and Van Ness. That's 2 fun ones.
That is 2 fun ones.
I would rather see Pinheiro versus Van Ness than Yanni versus Van Ness.
Really?
Really? Because
Who else do you really want to see? You want to see Bastida versus Dean? That's fun.
I want to see I want to see Bartlett versus Swiderski.
Ooh, that's fun too. Okay.
That's the duel. That's the duel I want to see personally.
Yeah.
So who knows if we're gonna get it, Tanner? I'm like, I think it's a win-win personally. Either way it goes.
You know who the real winner is?
The fans.
That's right.
Wow. Okay, 41. Don't sleep on this Swiderski Cornella match. I think this could be a fun one. Cornella is really tough. Swiderski's likely better, but I think it's gonna be a competitive
classic trap match.
Is it a trap match?
If he's looking ahead.
Did you ever get trap matched, Ben?
Well, I only lost to 2 people, so I don't think so.
Isn't he obnoxious? You know, I just tried to
teed him up.
I try to make him. I'm trying to make him. Humanize this guy. Make him feel relatable. And then he drops. I only lost to 2 guys. So, okay, fine.
Yeah, you want to hear I probably told you before. I have a good stat. You want to know my good stat?
Yes.
Excluding my redshirt year, 8 years of high school and college competition, I was never in the Wrestlebacks.
That's pretty good.
Oh yeah, I don't know what those are like.
See, you know what? Championships are won on the backside, and that's probably why you couldn't lead Missouri to a title.
Third place is won. Third place is won on the backside.
Just ask Minnesota.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, Pinheiro versus Yanni. Holy cow. This is happening, and Ben's going to be on a plane. We're just going to be watching.
Watch it. That's really preposterous.
What time does this all start?
Somebody's going to be watching
starts at
11 Eastern.
Live Fox News or live CNN News. I can't watch Yanni versus freaking Pinheiro.
I know.
The Iowa State Cornell one will be at 2 p.m. Central Time.
Oh, I know. I'm aware. I don't land until 3:45.
Oof, man. You need to buy.
You're also gonna miss Parker versus Caleb Romero.
Yeah,
because UNI versus Ohio State is.
He's not that into it.
Parker's gonna beat him. I mean, it's gonna be competitive because it's really hard to score on Caleb Romero, but Parker's gonna win by. Well, I got him covering the spread. What was it, 2.5 or 1.5?
1.5.
Okay,
covering.
Okay, Pinheiro versus Yanni. We talked about it a little the last show. Is there anything else to mention about this one?
What percentage chance are you giving Pinheiro?
5.
That's
that
it?
low. Wow. I'll go a little higher. I'll say like say 15%. Roughly 1 in 6.
I'll go 10. I'll split the difference.
Split the difference. All right.
Yeah.
10 seems like so little, but then you say if they wrestled 10 matches, could Pinheiro get 1?
Yeah.
And that's kind of like, that sounds maybe about right.
Possible. Definitely possible.
Yeah.
It would have been much lower, except obviously Yanni just lost.
Man, speaking of Pinheiro, I listened to his interview coming into the collegiate duels, and Dresser kind of like has joked about like how confident he is.
He says in like every interview now.
This dude is literally so confident, Ben. It made me think of, oh my gosh, yeah. He's like, but I think in a very healthy way. He's like,
nice.
He's like, because then he was getting questions about his confidence. He's like, I don't know. Ever since he's like, ever since I was a kid, like, even when I would lose a match, in like 10 minutes, I'd be like, man, I should beat that guy, or I can beat that guy, or I shouldn't lose to him, or whatever. He
Yeah.
does like have, and he just feels like, yeah, I think he's a probably, you should listen to it, Ben, because I know you talk a lot about like
Yeah.
that kind of mentality and confidence, but and what an advantage that can be. But he certainly is as confident as Coach Dresser says he is.
Interesting. I would be curious then to see. Did he address how much better his cardio has gotten?
He like refers to it. He hasn't said like he hasn't spoken about it specifically, but he talked about his training partners. He's like, man, I got guys that can attack one side. I got guys that can attack another side. I got guys that'll beat on my head for a whole practice and get me really tired and make me wrestle hard. And because they asked about his training partner, so he referred to it, but not so specifically.
Yeah. Yeah, it'd be interesting to hear what his process was getting through that, because obviously it was like the biggest of issues. Like he would fall over and stop competing in matches no less than 9 months ago, and now he wrestled a hard 9-minute match with Max Murin and it was fine, right? I mean, that's a huge switch.
The biggest thing was treating his sickle cell anemia.
Yeah, I mean,
I don't know what all that entails. I know they switched up diet too.
Mm-hmm.
Just said supplements and whatnot, but
and he was talking about like what the coaches were telling him before matches. He's like before the Gomez match, they said he's going to try to pin you the entire time. You got to be ready for that. And he's like, and I just kind of weathered the storm and beat him. And they said before the Mirror match, they said he's gonna come and he's gonna push you around for 7 minutes and try to break you. And when you don't break, he's not gonna know what to do. And he's like, and that happened.
That's good coaching right there.
I would agree. My belly's rumbling. If y'all are hearing that on,
that's just the thunder outside.
That's not the thunder outside, of which there was lots. It's just my empty belly crying out for breakfast tacos, which I think I might get this morning. I don't normally. Okay, we're only at 149 at this duel. We got to start kicking it into gear. Kreiser versus Yapujian. Sorry. Kreiser, Yapujian. I think this is another toss-up in this match. And then Carr Ramirez. What'd you say?
I said skip it. We're in a hurry. We don't need to talk about that match.
It's skipped. Forget I said it. Right. Carr Ramirez is Carr.
Yep.
I don't think Ramirez is gonna pull a knockoff like this. Broderson or Gaetan or Devine versus Foca. It may take a combination of those two or three to beat Foca. Although, as I say that, Foca can look like a national champion one match, and the next he'll lose, and you'll be like, "What happened, Christopher?"
He has not looked bad this year yet.
No, he has not.
I know a lot of what gets quoted last year was like his end of the season, but he got hurt, and I think that really messed him up.
Yeah.
At the end of last year.
Yeah, that certainly would not help. So here's to a fully healthy and maximized Chris Foca, because he's a lot of fun. Coleman versus Jonathan Lowe. I like Coleman here, but Lowe has his positions where he's really tough and challenging from top, but I don't think they'll work against him. Bastida Cardenas. Are we giving young Jacob a shot here?
No.
No shot, says Ben Askren.
It's going to be competitive, but Bastida's going to win for sure.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay. Write that on your bulletin board, Jacob. Sam Schuyler versus Luis Fernandez. There's a number 9 Schuyler, number 15 Fernandez, but to me this is another toss-up.
Schuyler's that high? Really?
Yeah. Well, Kozak did it.
He doesn't really lose to guys he shouldn't.
I'm looking up his record now. WrestleStat. He has 5 matches. He beat the Campbell. He beat the Campbell kid who's scrappy. He beat Hilger, and he lost to Cassiopeia. Those are his 5 matches. That are the most important ones.
Yeah,
I guess because the win over Hilger is why.
Yeah, Hilger, he took a weird loss at the beginning of this year, didn't he?
No, his only loss. So he has 6 matches. His loss is the Schuyler, and his win is to Fernandez, and He doesn't really have any other good win. Ben Golden of Penn, who's ranked on Wrestles at number 39, is his third win, high rank win.
Indeed.
Man,
Okay. So who wins
I
this
think
duel?
Fernandez. I feel like Fernandez. Yeah, who won it? Given the picks we made, anyone write them down?
I'm willing the Cyclones to victory.
Yeah,
That's
it's
my
just
plan.
this could be all about the grit from JD.
Okay, let me just look through. So we picked we said kind of toss them at 25. I will pick Iowa State. 33 Cornell, 41. We'll go Iowa State. That's a good match though. 49, I'll go Cornell. 57, probably Cornell. 65, Iowa State. 3-3, 74 Cornell. 84 Iowa State. 4-4 Iowa State. And then I got 5-5. That's mine.
I got 5-5, and I think Cornell bonus edge. So I think Vito could get it. Don't count out John Diakomahalis. I know that may sound like insanity. You may need like a car. Now, Carr can't be discounted for bonus either, because not that he's the biggest bonus guy, but he can. And Ramirez sometimes will just, give it up. Not give up, but like he can be scored on. He got pinned by Peyton Hall this year, I'm pretty sure. So I think that's where I kind of lean Cornell, but I don't know. It's gonna come down to the last couple of matches for sure.
Yeah, I would say, and for me, I would say it comes down. I have toss up, but 25 is in the balance. 41 competitive. 49 you lean Yanni, but it's kind of competitive. 57's not really obvious one way or the other. I think 97's competitive and heavyweight's competitive. So you got a lot of matches that can go kind of either way, which is what makes it a really good duel.
Yeah, it's going to be a really good duel. And even Unger, like, if there's a vulnerability with Kabamban, like keeping his wrists,
if he gets two tilts,
that can be a toss-up that can become a major. Because if you got a guy with, it's all about how the matchups.
Yeah.
Okay. What's Penn State's day looking like?
Not very hard, actually.
Central Michigan and
North Carolina.
North Carolina, not too rich.
North Carolina just lost to freaking App State, so I mean,
yeah.
I wonder if they'll throw in Haynes at 57, or if it's gonna be Bear Claw, because North Carolina's got O'Connor. Lout actually, I think he's really tough, and he lost to the App State kid who I didn't really know at 74. What other good matches are there?
Well, I mean, 57 is not great. Sherman versus Van Ness. That's a good test for Shane Van Ness, for sure.
McNeil, Bartlett could be something, but Bartlett's an obvious favorite at this point.
Wait, they were teammates.
Yeah, Wyoming Seminary.
So probably some familiarity there.
Let's see.
Yeah, I don't know. Not a ton there. What about Central Michigan?
Not
they got
Johnny. People.
They got Johnny Lovett. Lovett.
And Van Ness beat him.
Yeah, but that was
Black Knight.
He got.
It was a good match.
It was a good match for sure. But I don't think there's much else in that one.
Yeah, I mean the other good one. I think UNI Ohio State has some really fun matches, and then I think Lehigh and North Carolina State has some really fun matches also.
Let's look at UNI Ohio State.
41 Happel, I think 33 Biscaglia Mendez is fun. So you got Parker Romero, you got 74 should be competitive because you got Ethan Smith and Lance Runyon. So you got a bunch of matches which are, good matches, not lean too hard one way or the other.
Mm-hmm.
Man, how interesting can UNI make this duel?
Well, let me go find their full lineup. I wonder if they think they'd ever throw Corey Land out there at 25?
He's been wrestling 33, hasn't he?
No, I don't think they will.
Okay.
I mean,
yeah, he's been wrestling 33.
Oh, Lordy. He's got the black lung. So UNI can win. Can UNI win 33? Is it possible? I think it's possible.
Yes.
Okay, they can win 41. I don't think they can win.
They're the favorite at 41.
Yeah, they're favorite. Can they win 57?
Well, 49, Real Buddha's got to keep it close. Um, 57.
They could.
eh,
It's unlikely,
possible.
but
Holschlag's not bad.
yeah, it's tough. Cardinals not having a great year. If you're looking for
Yeah.
something,
Man, 84, you and I's favored. Heavyweight, you and I already won this year.
Mm-hmm.
So they're at 4 where they're somewhat favored. You could maybe argue Mendez is the favorite.
Know who I think this is okay. I don't have any inside information, but this is what I think they could do. Who's really tough for them that has not wrestled, and he is a true freshman, so they could pull him out. Is Wyatt Volker. They could
Okay.
pull him out at 97.
You think?
I mean, why wouldn't you? You have the 5 matches for him. Why wouldn't you pull him out?
Yeah, maybe. Maybe that's what they do.
I'm trying to find why does his wrestle stats not coming up? What the hell?
He's 12-0
I think
so far this year.
I was gonna say I think he's won a few open tournaments.
But yeah, he hasn't really wrestled anybody.
Dang, this would be a good time to use him.
They got to use him right now for sure.
Make him. Call Schwab.
Yeah.
Say it's time.
Oh, yeah, it's time. Pull his ass out. Let's go.
Yeah, this is a winnable match for you and I. There's no doubt about it. And Malik is not impervious. You know, it can happen.
Yeah. That's
Not impenetrable. Yeah. Okay.
dang it all. Freaking I don't know what WrestleStats doing. WrestleStats not treating me well right now.
Okay.
Speaking of me, log in. All right, keep going. I'm
Yeah.
distracted. I'm gonna get the Wyatt Volker to see if he's beating anyone good. Is what I'm gonna do.
Okie doke.
How's that?
So that's that match. That's
All right,
probably
let's
the
see.
second best duel of today, I would say.
Volker has not beaten anyone that's that good, but he is undefeated and he's got a couple tech falls, couple pins, couple majors. I mean, he has a really good year. I would use him for tonight for sure if I'm Northern Iowa.
Yes.
Lehigh,
Yeah,
yeah, yeah. Usually,
significant upgrade on your other guy, in my opinion.
Agreed.
Mm-hmm.
Lehigh versus North Carolina State also today. I think just kind of matchup wise, it's not great for Lehigh, but we will get fun matches at 57, 97. Humphreys versus Scott.
That's a good one.
And at 97, it'll be Beard versus Trumbull.
That's a good one too.
Okay.
And then so then we have that 97 mix up that we talked about with Truex, Beard, Trumbull
Yep.
all in the same pool.
Mm-hmm.
So that should be fun to see how that plays out.
All right. So that's today, and then tomorrow there'll be a lot more wrestling. We'll have a watch party.
Yep, starting at 5 p.m. Central Time for just the championship, the 2 championship duels.
What about 2 p.m.? You're not doing an Iowa State watch party, JD? You're kicked off the.
I know. I'll be watching. I'll be partying, just with my friends here in Austin.
Yeah.
Not virtually.
It's Christmas season, so some of the parties are just more personal in nature. Ben, hope you understand. All right, Ben. Let's talk a little wrestling coaching, philosophy, mindset, whatever's what are some of the things you've been thinking about or doing, or what's been kind of top of your mind? I know you're always reading and learning and stuff like that. What's been?
Oh man, well, the most recent book I just read again, and I have some certain kids read it, and then I kind of like talk about it while I'm reading it, and I have read it before. The Rise of Superman. Have you guys read that?
No.
So good. Well, you want to hear my deep thoughts or what?
Yeah.
Okay, well, so the Rise of Superman is all about the extreme sports athletes who find the flow state, and they find it more frequently than people in other sports for a multitude of reasons. But the deep thought I had was one of the things is the activity needs to be intrinsic versus extrinsic, right? And so when you think of intrinsic versus extrinsic, you usually think like, does the kid want to go to practice, or is the parent making them go to practice? Do they want to make the weight, or is the coach making them make the weight? That type of thing, right?
Yeah.
That's kind of
intrinsic. It's within them. They want to do it. Extrinsic.
Correct.
It's just like the outside pressure is sort of getting them to do it.
Yes. Um, and so, usually you think about like a kid who is he driven and he wants to win, for himself, by himself type thing, as intrinsic, and the parents pushing, and the extrinsic usually wears out, or obviously in when you get older in life, it could be you're doing it for a monetary reward, or you're doing it because you want to get a girlfriend or something like that, versus because you want to do the thing. But what I was thinking about is certain kids, they and I've kind of a little bit had this thought, but I hadn't thought it in this light, is like they want to win in practice, um but winning in itself is intrinsic versus extrinsic, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so like I've talked to certain athletes, a handful of them, about like, dude, I wrestle because I just like wrestling and I just want to see what happens. I don't even need to win or lose, like I just like to wrestle. And so like when they're getting too caught up in practice about just that, just that, like, not even stop thinking about winning. Just like wrestle to wrestle and see what happens, and understand the positions more and deeper, and have an enjoyment of what you're doing. And then so when this book kind of reiterated that point, because so it's like if someone's surfing, right? There's surfers brought up in this book because it's extreme sport. It's like they're not thinking about winning or losing on the wave. They're not in a competition. They're just thinking, can I ride the wave or not? Or how do I ride this wave? Or can I go jump? Can I ride that mountain when they're skiing, right? Stuff like
Mm-hmm.
that. And so I was thinking about that a lot for certain kids, is like, if you build practice into too much of a competition, then it's almost always extrinsic, because you're saying like, well, I have to win this practice to make it fun for me, or for make it worthwhile, versus like just enjoying. Like I'm speaking for myself right now, and I know this is for other people. I literally just really enjoy wrestling, and I do it because I enjoy it. And that's probably one of the reasons I spent so much free time in the wrestling room, and why I got so good at it, because lots of days I wasn't really concerned about winning or losing. I just wanted to wrestle.
So
What do you
how
think?
have you kind of changed how you've thought about practice as you've run it, knowing that or thinking about that?
No, it's just it's more for specific athletes, probably, who, like, there's certain ones who have more trouble with that concept than other people. So not for everyone, because I think we already kind of run it like that. Like, say when we spar, I don't really I it's actually kind of counterproductive for them to try to win, because that means then they're going back to the positions they like to do more, or they're better at, versus focusing on the positions that I want them to focus on to get better at. So, I think as a practice structure, we've kind of already talked about that, but there's just certain individuals who are so stuck on the winning or losing, and so like, to get them out of that mindset and think about just doing the activity. The activity is wrestling, right? We don't have to think about winning. We can think about winning and losing. We don't have to. We probably should sometimes, but not every single time.
So when you're in a highly competitive room with highly competitive athletes, you're doing live goes. Guys
Yeah,
get mad when they lose. There's, you've
yeah.
seen it in college rooms. I'm sure you see it in your practice room.
Mhm.
Are you addressing that? Are you like, hey, or how does that conversation go? When you think
Um,
a kid is
well,
too focused on winning in
this
practice?
is a newer thought, right?
Hmm.
This intrinsic, extrinsic, specifically in regarding winning it and losing in practice. Um, But no, I would say, I would say as a coach, you try to move, and move people around so that they have success sometimes, right? Because the whole
Yeah.
philosophy of like, I need the hardest partner every single time, it's freaking stupid. It's not productive. You need the hardest partner some of the times, but not every single time. So I think we've already done a good job of that. I mean, most of our practices when we have live goes, it's not like you're going with a singular person. You're going to go with different people every single time, and certain days, if I want a specific thing to happen, I might say, no, you with him, you with him, you with him, and might switch it up a little more. Then and some days I'll just let them choose, of course. What do
Gotcha.
you think?
I like that. I mean, it sounds good. You also have the good fortune, the earned fortune, I guess you should say, of having a big room with a lot of partners where you can like mix
Yeah.
and match like that, which is
Well,
is
that's one
my
of the things that, I mean, Max and I always, like, I don't want to say we laugh about it, but it's like we just can't figure out, other people can't figure it out when they're all these other coaches are whining about burnout, or coaches wanting to quit, or kids wanting to quit. And it's like, if you just make them love wrestling, they're not going to quit. And that's not saying we've never had anyone quit. We have people quit, but it's actually rare. Like, when I have a few kids right now who are seniors, who were kind of good, aren't wrestling. It's like, freak, why aren't they wrestling? And it's a rarity. It's like it doesn't really happen a lot. Like it's pretty unique. Like it's right now I have two or three that are seniors that aren't wrestling who just kind of got burnt out for that various reasons. And it wasn't just wrestling, it was stuff outside. But that's pretty rare. Like that's not, a lot of programs have a lot of drop off. And I'm not talking about since last year. I'm talking about since like sixth grade, right?
Mm-hmm.
Most of the kids who are with us in sixth grade are still with us. Like, and they're still wrestling and they're still really liking it. There's not a lot of kids who were with us in sixth grade and now they're not wrestling as, say, seniors in high school.
So what is it that you're doing that you would think differentiates you? Is it less competition? Is it the way you structure practice, the way you communicate? What do you think is the
like I'm being investigated now?
Yeah, well, you would do the same to if I were Cale Sanderson,
Yeah.
you'd be pressing
Cale
me.
Sanderson, that son of a gun, Cale Sanderson, he will not answer any questions. Like, the other day he started texting me about something. He's asking my opinion, so I give him my opinion, and I'm like, "Well, what's your opinion?" And his ass wouldn't give it to me. I'm like, "Wait, this is bull. Like, this is bull crap. Like, why you text me, you ask me my opinion on something, and now I'm asking you back, and you won't give it to me? This is crap." So, okay, because I'm not going to be like him, and I'm going to give everyone my opinion. I think it's because we genuinely like wrestling. We really like the sport, not just for the winning and losing, but we like wrestling. And that's definitely shown to everybody. And then I think it would be because we really do like care about the kids, and we have a lot of good coaches that care about the kids. And it's not just like you need to be good for my team. It's like, no, I care about you, and I care about you, and I want what's best for you, and I want you to be good, and these type of things. So I think that's probably a huge part of it. And then through that security, they really develop a love for the sport also.
What's a typical like practice structure like for you guys, like in season?
Well, obviously we don't have the high school kids in season, right? So youth, we don't do a ton of live with youth. We really never do, which is, I mean, that's probably a big discrepancy from a lot of rooms, because with youth kids, the easiest thing is to say, hey, just go wrestle. Because those little pain in the asses, they always just say, when are we go live? When are we go live? Constantly. You're in a youth room, right? You hear it probably.
Dude, some kid,
so annoying.
There's this one kid who just literally will be like, he'll tell the coach, hey, it's 7:00, like, because that's normally around the time we're going live. Coach will be like, thanks. Like, we don't always go live at 7:00, but like they think they've got to be wrestling live.
Yeah. So, yeah, I mean, we don't
but
do
wrestling.
It. So,
but that's my thing though. It's like, okay.
What?
Because wrestling is fun, and like the actual competition of wrestling is really, really fun. And so the way to do that is either you're doing like situational, live, or just straight live. So how do you like maintain that love while having really limited live wrestling? Because
so I disagree, because at least at a younger age, I think that's kind of an older person's thought. The way you're thinking about it is like an older person. It's not like a 10-year-old's thought or an 11-year-old's thought, right?
Mm-hmm.
I have Alex is 10. I think she's pretty mature, and she actually likes wrestling, and she wants to compete, and I won't let her compete as much as she wants to, because when she wins a trophy, she's like, "Can I go next weekend?" I'm like, "No, you can't." Like I want her to like really keep wanting it,
Mm-hmm.
So I don't let her compete all that frequently. But if I said go live for 30 minutes, I think she'd be like, "Wait, what?" As a 10-year-old.
Yeah.
She'd be like, "Nah." I mean, she hasn't live wrestled more than probably, I don't know, 5 minutes ever, I would guess. So I think that thought of like, hey, let's just, say like, I'm going with Sinclair. Some days we might just shake hands and wrestle for 30 minutes, right? She's not doing that at 10 ever, never, ever. So, I don't really, because really especially middle school level, they're not very good, just kind of across the board. And so there's going to be huge skill discrepancy. So one dude's going to be getting killed and the other dude's going to be doing the killing.
I'm told there's national champions.
What?
There's middle school national champions, so
it's shenanigans. I hate it.
They're the number one in the nation.
Okay, they all still stink. If we're looking on the spectrum of wrestling. But yeah, so I mean, one dude getting killed, and that I really do think this is a large part of why a lot of programs lose their numbers is because they do too much live. And at middle school level, like I said, there's the skill discrepancy. It's not like high school. Like I don't know what it is, but I think it's like where kids are here and then by high school they go up, but this bottom kind of catches up at least to a base skill level faster. Where even a good kid can kind of be semi-competitive with a really good kid. Where middle school it's not like that. If one kid's like kind of good and the other kid's good for middle school, he's gonna get pinned like 74 times. So when you have one kid killing the other kid, the kid who's getting killed, especially if it happens 2 or 3 times a week, every single week for months, they're gonna be like, I don't like this anymore. This is not fun. It's not fun. I don't know when the last time you got your ass kicked was, Christian, in the restroom. It's not fun.
Probably the last time I did it, whenever that was.
But it's not fun, And so like you need some level of competitiveness in it. And so I really do think that's a big part of the numbers drop off for, that middle school, early high school level is that portion of it. So how do you make it fun? I don't think that's the most fun part of it for middle school kids. I think as they start getting to high school, I think that becomes like they actually just enjoy the wrestling part of it and seeing we have a lot of those kids in our room, but it's not usually happening in middle school. It's a little later. That's a good question. I don't know why that is, but I can tell you that is the case for us. Yeah, so I think just putting appropriate level practices to them, not grinding them too hard, which is something a lot of people like to do, and it's the easiest thing. And it does make them good right then, but then I think it leads to a lot of burnout. Yeah.
Yeah.
That was kind of long-winded there. But.
I think one thing I've noticed parenting and coaching a little bit is the importance of partners. Just like having someone you enjoy doing the sport with is so important. Right. I've seen that be like very two-sided for Caleb, whereas if like he's got a partner he really likes working with and he's like really excited for practice, but if he knows he's gonna be going with a guy and basically he's signing up for an hour and a half of like getting destroyed, it's not fun for him. So if there's more drilling in there, I think he's a little more. But yeah, that's an important thing. That's why I've been telling him, like, get your baseball friends to come out for wrestling, and you have more people like you like just being around and hanging out with. I think that's a huge thing because otherwise it's just work and just hard exercise, and if you're doing it with someone you enjoy being with, it can be really, really difficult.
And that's a big part of the team building too. Like, last weekend we had all the kids go to the World Cup together and they did a few camp sessions, but they were spending time outside of wrestling. This weekend, kind of the same thing with this. We did some wrestling things together, but we did some non-wrestling things together. We hiked and we did a pizza party on Saturday night. Some of them did top golf together. So yeah, yes, that's huge. Is building guys that you really like and just enjoy, not just in know in only the action, but know other places also. I think that's a big one.
I also think, as I've been thinking about it, like another thing I bet loses a lot of kids is like just the youth structure of competitions generally it's all individual tournament based. You're never really like with the team. Whereas like I know there are dual tournaments and like
duals are so hard.
What's that?
Duals suck.
Well,
they're good. They're great they're great and they suck at the same time. They're both, because you're right. You are right. Kids enjoy it more. 100%. You're not wrong at all. But it sucks in the fact of like, sometimes you have like for our club 3 really good guys at one weight and then another weight maybe not someone who's not so great, right? So if you go to a really high level tournament, it's not like you can wrestle all 3 of them dudes at one. You know what I'm saying? Like, so 2 of the really good kids are sitting on the bench or not going with the team, and then there's a kid who's maybe not quite at that level, and it's like you want to develop him, but if you're going to a really good dual tournament now, maybe he goes 1-7, right? And it kind of sucks for him.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? And 2 guys who should be getting that level matches aren't getting that level matches. Or, for us, we never have any big guys, or it's pretty rare, at least in middle school, because a lot of them do so many other sports. We just don't get that level of commitment. Even in high school, in the fall duels, we barely ever have heavyweights. We're always forfeiting heavyweight because they're all playing football.
Okay.
So duels are great to your point because it's a team thing, but then on the other hand, it's like it sucks because you have to have people at these specific weights, and if there's a bunch at one weight, you can't wrestle them all, and if you have another weight, you're forfeiting, and then
So you prefer individual tournaments more, or what?
I do, yeah, but no, I see what you're saying I fully see what you're saying about it being more fun to be duels, but then there's obviously a big negative side to that also.
Yeah, you could just be getting beaten down for 2 straight days. Whereas, at least if it's an individual tournament, you theoretically should only lose twice. Although you could end up in one of these round robin jobbers and just go 0-4 or 0-5, which is less fun.
The one is when every team, every tournament thinks they need to do bigger round robins. So they're like, we have a 4-man robin, we have a 5-man round robin, 6-man round robin, 7-man. It's like, dude, why
round robin.
why do they need to keep going up? This is preposterous. Because man, one kid goes 0-5. That his day sucks. Like getting your ass kicked 5 times, that's no good.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Well,
What
what
else
else
talk about?
While we're talking about that, I discovered no Hartsla in the probables
Uh-oh.
and no
What?
John Lowe. So Marcus Coleman getting bonus and Iowa State winning this duel.
Well,
Getting that dub.
And then they're beating
at
Penn State and winning.
165 then, I guess Hepner's still been pretty good. I mean, Hepner can still beat Yant for
They
sure.
can't use him. He's redshirting. He's not a true freshman. They would have to burn his shirt.
Dang it. That's a stupid rule. They should let any red shirt wrestle a couple times.
Absolutely. It doesn't make sense.
Yes. Doesn't make sense.
It's like,
That's annoying. Ugh.
because it's still solving the same problem. Well, so a couple of the problems that the red shirt thing, 5 usages solves is like, one, you're giving experience to someone who wouldn't otherwise get it, wrestling in the duels. You're keeping them connected to the team. But 2, it's like you're not as you're making it so your team is not as punished by an injury, and you're getting more guys that are able to be utilized. I think it's just a win across the board.
Hey, Kozak says no Mendez either.
Yeah.
Oh boy.
Buzakis in at 133.
Is it time to are we a little nervous about young Jesse?
And no Patty.
No Patty or Jesse.
Hey, what's wrong with Ohio State? They beat up.
Yeah, I don't know. Not good. So now I'm wondering
I don't know if they're going to beat Northern Iowa anymore.
Well, I don't. Yeah, I for sure don't know that.
It's Clay Reeves, Gavin Brown, and Isaac Wilcox listed at both 57 and 65.
So they're losing. They're in trouble. I would say UNI's probably a favorite based on those lineups.
Yeah. Dang.
Once again, also, we've seen teams put out probables and then not follow them.
I bet this is right, though.
Yeah, because they got to travel, so it's not their home.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I bet that's right. Someone says you are high for that take, JD. Are you high?
No. For what take?
Be in the cup.
Which take?
You said Iowa State was going to beat Penn State.
Sure, I'll stick by that.
Give me the path. Give me the path.
All right, they win 25. That's easy.
Yeah.
Yep. You're going to lose 33.
41.
Yep, you got to win 41, 49.
49.
You have to win 57.
You're not winning 57. Kaiser's not good.
Cries over the Indian Outlaw is not crazy.
Indian Outlaw? What are you talking about?
Friends call me Bear Claw. You
Oh my God.
You don't listen to Tim McGraw, do you?
All right, Carr wins.
Yep, he could maybe get bonus. He could maybe get a major.
Oh, stop.
Stop. That's not even that crazy.
What? Carr majoring Facundo's like a giant stretch?
He almost did it to Kennedy. And then, obviously, you're going to lose 74 and 84. But then you win 97, and then you lose heavyweight.
Yeah, I guess I could win 97. I wasn't.
That's 5 and 5.
Yeah. You're right. Okay,
Or no, that's
you're right, Jay.
if they win 57, that's 6 and 4.
6-4. Kale on the hot seat?
Hey, can I bring up something? Larry Jensen just asked a good question. Can I say something? It is good, the youth coaching stuff.
Yeah.
And this is, I was actually just thinking about this last night because I had someone say to me something like, I'm gonna bring this up to him when he's not happy later this season, or is there something about the person's lack of work, and then when they get the subpar results because of the lack of work, they're gonna shove it in their face, essentially, right?
That's what you do.
Yeah, and while it's true, while it totally may be true, and so I actually asked Larry's question because this what made me think. So, what's the plan with kids that think that they're so much better than they really are? They think they know the moves, but continue to pummel in tournaments. Okay, so deep down, those kids don't really think that, right? Because the results in wrestling are obvious, right? They're creating a facade with their behavior to mask some type of insecurities. But in wrestling, if you're getting your ass kicked, you're getting your ass kicked, and you know, like there's no faking it, right? You just know. And so the same thing with the kid that's not doing the work. The kid already knows. The kid already knows. If they say no, I'm fine, they're lying. They are lying to you, right? And so I told you so's never work as a coach. They only backfire. Only back. That's it. They only backfire because what it does is it creates a larger barrier between you and the athlete, where the athlete is then more defensive and they're more prideful because they don't want you to tell them I told you so. And if you do, they want to tell you go F yourself. So obviously, if that kid who's say not doing the work that's necessary, you need to figure out why are they not willing to do the work that's necessary. And maybe you know what? Maybe they don't want to be great at wrestling. It's not for everybody, right? It's for some people, it's not for everybody. But if they do, if there are those kids who they want to be good at wrestling, but maybe they're not as consistent as they should be. Maybe they got some issues at home, right? Maybe there's something built up in their head that's keeping them from doing what they need to do, and maybe it's some friends, right? And so you need to be as a coach, you need to be the person that says, "What is the issue here? How can I help you solve the issue?" Right? I know there's issues because I know you want to be good, right? And if there's not, and if that person say they don't want to be good, so they're a high school athlete that wants to play 3 sports, they want to be a decent wrestler. Let them be a high school athlete that plays 3 sports and is a decent wrestler. That's fine. Whatever. That's what they want to do, right? Don't try to say, well, you didn't wrestle in the fall, so now you're not going to go to state. Like, well, they wanted to play freaking football. That's what they wanted to do, right? And then you shoving in their faces, making them not like you. It's not creating the result that you want. So I told you so's. It's very, very rare that they work. I don't want to say never, but it's pretty rare.
So how do you, well, maybe lesser so than that question, but when you observe kids, and I see this at the club, like you got a guy that's really good at defense, hard to take down in the live, and then they don't take any risks in their live, and then they don't get scored on, and they probably win the live go, and then they get to the tournament and they don't attack, and there's guys that can score on them, and then they're screwed. How do you approach that in the practice room?
I think that's easy. So what a coach needs to make it feel like is you're my athlete, Christian. This is not me versus you. This is me and you moving the same direction, right?
Yeah.
And so there's that. Let's do that scenario. There's 2 really easy ways. Number 1, Christian, I freaking told you didn't shoot it all in practice. You dumb. That's why you lost. You suck. Okay, that's negative.
And that's
works. Me versus you.
Yes.
It doesn't work.
It doesn't work. Got
right?
it. Okay.
It creates animosity. Me and you don't like each other. You're less likely to listen to me. You're less likely to keep coming back to practice. Right? This is not good. This creates a lot of bad feelings. Okay. The other one is Christian's sad after he loses and he's been stubborn in practice. And obviously this is not a one-time thing. Sometimes it takes a lot of times. Christian, man, hey, did that feel good to lose? And you're saying, nah, it didn't feel good. I didn't like that. Hey, man, I'm trying to help you. You have to be able to have offense to beat these guys. You can't just have defense. We talked about this, but now we got to do it. We got to do it in practice, okay? Like, you don't want to lose. I know you don't want to lose. But in order to not lose, we have to have offense. So in practice, when I'm asking you to shoot, that's what I need. I don't need you to win in practice. I need you to learn how to shoot. I know when you shoot in practice, you're going to lose more because you're not as good at it as you are as your defense. But it has to be done, period. That's it, right? So let's go get this done. And now the kid feels like, okay, the coach got my back, right? He wants to see the best of me. And so now when I ask him that thing in practice, hey, you need to go shoot. We talked about this last Sunday when you were crying because you lost. We talked about the benefits of shooting. It's now you got to go do it.
Well, Coach, one time you told me if I shoot another head inside single, you'll make me walk home. And then I had to walk home because I just like shooting single legs.
Christian Pyles, for that athlete, they were old enough and mature enough to understand that some wrestling matches need strategy.
Yeah. When do you start to
So we don't teach strategy till later because I think too often, and some smart kids figure it out themselves, but if you give kids too good of a strategy early, it makes it too easy for them to win. Right? I don't really want them that. I want them to just think about skill development and have them a little harder. And then as they get older, 15, 16, 17, 18, you develop specific styles for that person's body type, athleticism, all that type of stuff.
See, I kind of thought you were going to say something else. I thought it would be almost uh getting strategic, like overly strategic for a match or for a kid is like could be like paralyzing, and like because then you're only thinking like single threaded through one way of scoring, winning, whatever, and then like you're not thinking about the expanse of wrestling that's actually at your
Yeah,
disposal, which I could see that happening.
for sure. Yeah, and I mean, obviously, some kids get when they get a certain strategy, they do get really good at that specific strategy, and that leads them to winning a lot of matches. And this is generally when the parent is rewarding the winning versus the like getting better at wrestling. And so then that kid is then so locked into that one or two things they'll never change, you know. And then so then changing them when they've been doing it for 5 years is like I won't say impossible, but it's really challenging.
Give me an example. Okay, sort of a fake scenario, but the average sort of amount of tactical discussion you would have with a junior in high school before a match that is of
For a
somewhat note.
match. It's not even really before. I mean, it might be a little bit before match, but a lot of it's in practice and stuff, like
Okay.
or in a private lesson, like talking about watching the matches, talking about it. So I'll give you exact one I had with Sinclair because it doesn't matter. I can talk about the strategy. So Sinclair's uh quarterfinal match at Super 32 was relatively competitive. It was close, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then his semifinal was not really that close. I think it was 3 or 4 takedowns to 0, where the quarter was 3-2. The kid in the semis was significantly better, right? And this is what Aiden has to do moving forward is Aiden's best attacks are off someone trying to beat him, right? He's got great down block go behinds. He's got a really good drag, so people start reaching, and he does these things like really, really at a very elite level. Okay, but that dude in the quarters knew this dude's better than me. I'm gonna try to do as little as possible, which is gonna make it really close, and then at the end, I'm gonna try to sting him and win.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so that's kind of like that. That's if someone's not as good. Actually, Aiden Sinclair employed this strategy against Mitchell Messenbrink when they were freshmen and juniors, and it made it a really close match. Made it like 3-0, you know.
Yeah.
So it was like very smart on his part. But so then moving forward, and then so Camden McDaniel, who was the semifinal, he thought he could beat Sinclair, so he actually went and tried to go get him, and it turned out more negatively because he couldn't go get him because he wasn't good enough, you know. And so Aiden moving forward now, the better he gets, the more people are going to say, I am not going to do very much against this guy because I know he's better than me, and so I'm not going to attack him. And if that happens, if the guy clams up, his best 3 moves become limiting. And so he needs to find a way to go put his hands on people, put pressure on them, and open up and create his own offense. And then when he does it, he's going to do it. I mean, he's really driven and he's really smart, and he's going to figure it out. And when he figures it out, then regardless of the strategy they try to use against him, it's not going to work.
Interesting.
Yeah, that would be a good one. So, you know, we've had that discussion. But yeah, I mean, it's like that with certain people, you know, if Mitchell Messenbrink and I, we had a really good, because he thought he could win by shooting exclusively from the outside, you know, and that was really a big switch for him is, you know, you can use it. It's a great weapon, great tool. You got some explosives, but you have to be able to do other things also, you know? And so that's like, and then so that for him, it wasn't, I told you so. He lost to Pinheiro and he lost to Ferrari and whoever else the hell he lost to it, freaking Super 32. That was the moment for it clicked. It was like, Mitchell, I've been telling you for 3 months and you won't listen. Like, do we want to do this again, or can we figure it out? And he's like, and it clicked. He's like, boom, figured it out, you know. So, but it was like it had to be. I'm helping you. I'm not trying to do. I told you so. But even though I did tell him so, right?
Mm-hmm.
I'm not doing it. I told you so. I'm doing I don't like seeing you lose, and I want to help you win. Can we do this so you win more?
Yeah. And do those for Mitchell's tactics, do they get sort of forged, the bad ones, that you were trying to correct? Do they get forged by having a lot of success in the practice room, having a lot of success locally, and just you kind of feel like that's your way to win?
Well, he would be, I mean, even in his case, he would be having and this is all right, this is where the challenge is. He was having a decent amount of success nationally too. Placed at Super 32 twice, placed at Fargo, right? I mean, he was good, but it's like, okay, you're good, but you still lose to these other really good kids. And you don't want to be good. You don't want to be number 9 in the country. You want to be number 1. That's what you're trying to do. right? And that's like these kids, like you make them realize like you want to be better than what you are, right? Or the kids you're trying to beat are the kids that these tactics are necessary to beat. If you don't employ these, those kids, you're going to keep losing to those kids, right? And there's even that concept of there's that concept of well, people at similar skill levels can lose to different strategies. So now you have to develop tactics to beat people with different strategies, right? Because if you're, we'll just say for simply sake of simplicity, strategy A, B, and C, you always beat strategy A and strategy B, but you lose strategy C.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Well, you know that, and that you see as a college, right? Because it's not like the number 5 doesn't always beat the number 12, right? The number 4 doesn't always beat the number 15, and a lot of that is tactics and strategies and skill sets. So you need to develop as many skill sets as possible so you can beat those other guys.
Gotcha.
Yeah,
What
that makes sense.
It does make sense.
Okay.
What slight switch? What sort of
Yeah.
for guys that let's say we're in a tournament.
Yeah.
What's the average sort of preparation you see guys do right before a match? You're gonna have 3-4 matches in a day.
Tactical?
No, just like getting up and getting ready. Like, what is the variance of like preparation you see that you think is good? Because there's a lot of different ways to do it, but what did you do?
Oh, I think one good warm up at the beginning of the day, and then minimal ones after that. Because if you want, I think if you warm up for 30 minutes for every match and you have 5 matches, you're going to be exhausted by the end of the day.
Yes.
Yes.
What sort of mental stuff did you do, or do you recommend?
I figured out how to get locked in. That was took me a while, but I figured it out, and I was able to get everyone's got to figure out their own process for their own click, their own thing to click and to where they get locked into where they need to be.
What was your
that's
process?
kind of
How did you get locked in?
for me, it was actually staying relaxed. I actually had an easy ability to get focused, but my problem early was I would get too focused too early, and I would wear myself out mentally, and then I wasn't as acute when it was necessary.
Gotcha. Okay.
Yeah. So there's obviously people who struggle with that, like the overthink. They really they overthink. They consider too many possibilities, too analytical. That's good in the practice room. That's bad for competition. You got to let it go. Competition, you got to be able to let it fly.
Okay. Gotcha.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Want to get to some questions?
We still haven't talked about the fact that RBY and Vito could wrestle this weekend. We can't
We
do
should
the
probably
show.
We talked about that.
That's a good
All right,
point.
who's going to win? Why didn't we do a pick on that? Because I guess it's not.
It's not guaranteed to happen.
Didn't we do Iowa State, Penn State ones?
We talked about it. We didn't like.
Okay, we didn't do any pick'ems for that. Okay.
But we have.
Okay.
Who has a better chance to beat Penn State?
Guys,
Iowa State or Cornell?
Wait, hold on. I got a question. Can we do a few pick'ems on
You can make
Monday
your pick right
night,
now.
or Tuesday morning? Like JD sends us like 3 to 5 picks or something like that.
Do you want lines? Or do you just want to make picks?
Of course.
Yeah, let's do it.
No,
Okay.
lines, duh.
All right, it's a party. We'll put them out. We'll put them on wax. Okay, but let's talk about the match because they're not going to get to hear us discuss Vito RBY. I don't know why I feel like it is a fun match. Both guys with like crazy speed. I just see Vito having a hard time getting to Roman in one takedown match type of thing. Maybe there's a ride, maybe not, but one counter reattack for Roman is the difference in my opinion, but I don't know.
You think it's 3-2?
Probably. I don't think it's the shootout.
No, I don't think it's a shootout either. I think say like versus a DeSanto, I think Vito is significantly craftier. And even in Dayton, by a long shot, from an offensive perspective, Vito is craftier and I think has a significantly better chance at taking RBY down because RBY does not get taken down a lot. It's pretty rare, right?
Yes.
I think Vito has a better chance than those guys because he's significantly more dynamic offensively.
So how do you see the match materializing?
I think it's most likely that RBY wins, like you said, a slow 3-2, something like that. But I think if I had to rate chances of other people beating him, I think I might put Vito at the top. I mean, like I obviously picked Dayton Fix before, but now after seeing that match, I can't pick Dayton to win again when it's materialized the same exact way. I don't know.
Yeah. I'm with you on that. It's
I would
tough
never
'cause-
pick DeSanto to beat RBY ever. Like I think it's like a 0% after seeing it that many times.
yeah. What do you think, JD?
I thought Vito looked really good at Vegas.
He did.
I kind of want to pick him, but our RBY is just too sound at this point.
I just think
To pick against him, it's like you need to see it
yeah.
first before you can pull trigger.
Yes. That's the only true test that Roman could probably feel this weekend, right? Or this whatever. It's all the weekend until after New Year's, as I stated the last show. Yeah, I don't see anyone else giving him a close match, but it would be it's a big question. It's one of the biggest question mark matches coming into this season.
If Vito can beat RBY, there's definitely a path to victory for Cornell in this duel.
Yeah, what is
That's true.
without Lowe? Well, that matters. They're losing that match.
Well, what are the match
But
anyways?
you have to not give up bonus.
Yeah.
Which is a thing.
I think Iowa State matches up better than Cornell, personally.
I think it's about the same.
Really?
So, Unger over Steen.
Mm-hmm.
Vito over RBY in
Yeah.
this scenario. Probably Bartlett over Cornella, but
It's a match.
it's a match. Yanni over Shane Van Ness.
Yeah.
Yapusian over Bear Claw.
Oh, man.
Ramirez over Facundo.
Oh, my gosh.
Yep. And then you get into 74, 84. But then 97, Cardenas isn't beating Dean. Bastida could
No.
maybe beat him.
They're
And then-
running 74 through heavyweight. Penn State is. That's going to be.
Hey,
basically-
Foca Staraki was close to this tournament last year.
It was.
Foca was winning
3-2.
going into the third period.
Yeah, it was a ride out, right? He had to ride him out the entire third.
He wrote him out
and won on
1-3-2.
riding time.
And if he got an escape, it would have went to a sudden victory. And I think
If we would have ride time, if he would have gotten an escape prior to ride time, he would have won 3-2.
yes, he could. He
Mhm.
wasn't. Remember, we talked a lot about that because we were like, dude, he was not even close to getting up. It was like
Not even close.
he was just squished.
It is annoying though. It is annoying how Staraki can ride that well because, like in that, for example, that 2 minutes, there was nothing that even
Resembled a turn
simulated
attempt.
a turn, and he was not trying to turn him. Right? It was literally just a ride, and that's where if you're not advancing to a near fall, I feel like you should be called for stalling. I hate people who ride and don't even attempt to turn. It drives me.
That
freaking
literally
crazy.
won him the match, though. Like, he was
I know
working
it did, but
towards winning the
it-
match.
Let's get the rule book up.
Caleb gets hit for stalling on top, so he's got hit for stalling so many times because
It's unique for
it is
kid
very.
of his
Well,
age.
I'm sort of surprised how much he's got called for. I don't know that I necessarily He's not stalling in his mind. He's working so hard, but he cannot. He has the hardest time breaking dudes down. So guys are getting up. He puts them back down. He's doing all the stuff. It looks very. But yeah, he's not getting any close to resembling a turn. So he's been hit for stalling in 2 tournaments. I think like 4 different times for just like not able to like progress on top. So.
Yeah,
very
and actually,
relatable.
youth wrestling. I do wish they called stalling more on top because the discrepancy. People are way better on top than bottom generally. So bottom guys have a really hard time getting away.
Yeah.
So if you kind of give the bottom guy a little bit of benefit. All right, let's see. I'm looking at this. I got the rule book up. What page is stalling on?
Oh my
Injuries,
gosh.
timeouts, referees, and other
You're
personnel.
really doing this?
What do you think it's on? Where do you think it's at, guys?
Don't they have a table of contents? Or maybe
Command
F.
Command F stall.
I just read you the table of contents. Command F. What's that? Command F.
it's a search tool.
stall.
It's the best.
Oh my
Command-
gosh, you guys are my heroes. Disqualification. Wow, you guys just changed my life. I didn't know how to do this ever.
You didn't know about
I've showed you this,
Command
Ben.
F?
I have showed you
No,
this.
no one's ever shown me this, Christian.
Well. Thank you, Tyler. I hope everyone just heard that. Tyler, our producer, just said we show you this once a month. 1,000%.
That was awesome. All right, I found it. Okay, let's go. Description of stalling: one or both wrestlers attempting to avoid wrestling action as an offensive or
we need more
defensive
double
strategy.
stalls.
I sat in the corner for a double stall this weekend too.
Stalling by backing up, stalling by wrestling on the edge, stalling by kicking out of bounds, stalling by fleeing, stalling by pushing or pulling, stalling, active wrestling. Let's see, dropping down to a leg, that one should be stalling. Waist and ankle ride, stalling. This is where it's like, wow, they have a lot of stalling definitions here. This is awesome. For the both the drop stalling by dropping down to a lower leg and stalling by waist and ankle ride, you know what they should additionally have, besides just a 5 count? I mean, well, if referees were bold enough to just call this, we wouldn't have to make a rule on it. But you should have a total time. Like, you got 30 seconds. You dropped the leg more than 30 seconds. You cannot do it. You touch the freaking leg again, stalling. That's it. You're done. You did 30 seconds of that shit. We don't want to see any more of it. You're done. You are done. Don't touch the leg. It's stalling. Waist and ankle ride. Listen, if you've been on a waist and ankle for 20 seconds in this period, you suck at riding. You should get called for stalling, period. That would be awesome.
I'm going to tell Caleb that. Like, Caleb, the main problem is you suck at riding.
Don't tell 12-year-olds that. College guys, they can handle the gruffness from my part. But seriously, like, the fact that it's just you can't do 5 seconds at one time, but you could do you could do 4 seconds 44 times. It's freaking preposterous. It's stalling.
Yeah, it's stalling. Stalling by pulling is a rare one. You don't see that. Stall pushing, stall pulling. Just pulling a guy. Yeah. I don't even know what that could look like. Okay.
Yeah, so it does not say, I am incorrect here because it does not say you must make an attempt to turn them. It says active wrestling. So I guess that leads active wrestling is up for interpretation of what exactly that means.
Yes, indeed.
That's annoying.
Okay.
What percentage chance are you giving either Iowa State and or Cornell of winning over Penn State?
Duels are definitely lend itself to more fluky results. I would say 15 to 20% chance for Iowa State and 10% for maybe 5% for Cornell. I think it's really uphill for Cornell. Iowa State, it's reasonable that they win it. And maybe I'm a little low with 25. Honestly, it could be a little higher. It could be in that 30, 35
right.
range.
I think it's about right.
1 and 4. They wrestle 4 times. Iowa State gets them once. That feels right. What you don't see, and this is something we talk about, is like you don't see a lot of duels can be fluky, yeah, but you don't see Penn State guys get upset very much. Max Dean twice was like definitely sticks out from a Penn State perspective because they just win the matches they're supposed to.
Well, you don't see their best of their best get upset a lot because you don't see any best of the best guys. Like multiple time national champions get upset a lot. Yeah. I don't think that's specifically a Penn State thing. I just think if you win multiple national titles, you are better than everybody.
You got a point, JD. You got a point.
Yeah. So we will see. Yeah, good point, JD.
But I mean, we see their mid-tier guys lose.
Yeah, and that's what's gonna. That could be the thing for Iowa State. They need to win. They need to win 25. They need to win 41, 49, 57. If they can get those, then that's gonna put them right in the duel. Then then you're just maybe counting on Bastida beating Dean, which pretty much has to happen for them to be in the duel, which I think is one of the more. I mean, I know everyone wants to see.
That's definitely possible. I mean, Dean's already lost twice this year. Why not?
Yeah, I mean, I think Bastida's
winning it this year.
He's got to get
favorite.
One takedown at the end of a period and he wins.
Max should take top. I'm telling you, he should do it. Because
then it's not like so. Okay, so for Max, unless it's a takedown at the end of the period, which I mentioned, Bastida would need 2 takedowns to beat Dean if he chooses bottom because he's going to get away for sure, and he's going to get away after a takedown unless that takedown's at the end of a period. So then he would need another takedown to win.
Well, okay. Well, I look at it a little differently because Dean may not get a chance on top. We know that Bastida's got a real weakness from bottom, just from lack of experience there.
Yes.
I would say probably there is a worst case scenario that Bastida just straight up gets away right away from Max. I think that was probably unlikely.
Yeah.
What I think is probably most likely is he rides him out, no turn, so he's going to get riding time.
Yeah.
And
Yep.
and then there's there's a decent probability he gets a turn, which is almost a guaranteed
Think so?
win.
There's that much. When has he been turned?
Well, I don't know. He also doesn't go underneath much, and he doesn't get taken down much, which is why he wins so many matches. And I don't know when's the last time he was turned, but I don't remember the last time. You know, a lot of guys don't get turned much, and Max Dean turns them. So I don't know, just a thought.
I feel like Dean doesn't turn the best guys though. He's very good at turning.
He's turned
guys ranked below like 15.
He turned
20.
Warner last year.
That's true.
He turned Hoffman, I'm pretty sure. Maybe not, actually. That was a crazy close match. Maybe he turned him at the at NCAAs, but not in the duel. I remember the duel was really close. I don't know. Maybe not. Maybe I'm wrong.
Yeah.
I think it should be considered. I'd consider it, but I'm sure they'll have a better game plan than what I'm thinking about. Anyway,
Hey, it's overtime. I'm trying to get work on it before I go to the airport. So
Okay.
I'm going to sign off.
all right, I'm signing off too. We thank you guys so much for listening. Happy Monday.
Start.
Remember, we got a watch party tomorrow,
Yeah.
5 Central. Be there or be square. And then we got FRL Wednesday, and no Thursday show this week. And we don't really need one because it's after talking
No
collegiate
wrestling.
duels
Are we going to be
Wednesday.
talking about how Iowa State beat Penn State on Wednesday?
Possibly. It's a
go.
possibility. We won't know until we do that show. And that's when you'll find out if they won.
Win or lose, I might be talking about it.
Let's go.
See ya.
Thanks so much, guys. Hope you guys have a great Monday. See you later. Thanks, Ben.
See ya.
Bye.